Well, someone's learning the hard way here. Weird. Ever since Disney announced its Snow White remake, they faced one PR disaster after another. From controversial casting choices to the complete reimagining of a classic, the backlash started very early and never really stopped. Now that the movie's finally out, the numbers don't lie, it's a total flop. What makes it even more unbelievable is that Rachel Zegler continues to double down on the very behavior that helped tank the film in the first place, so today, we're gonna cover it all and you won't believe just how bad things have gotten for this movie. As always, please make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos just like this.
Let's take a look at Snow White. Snow White is a movie that is coming out now. It is a Disney film. It should be a hit. Snow White, who could have more name recognition than Snow White? Everybody knows what Snow White is about. Everyone knows about it. It's big. And it should just, these things, these remakes should just kill. There should be it should be on, if you don't fuck this stuff up, it should be easy. Snow White, get a wolf, get a bitch, get a witch. You're done. Get a prince, probably.
Exactly. It's not rocket science at all. What should have been a straight moneymaker for Disney turned into Bob Iger's worst nightmare. If they had just stuck to the source material and refrained from pushing SJW messaging, this would have been one of their highest grossing movies in recent times, I'm sure of it. Instead, a B movie starring Jason Statham, one I didn't even know was coming out, ended up beating them at the box office last weekend, and it was frankly better. Disney remake pulled in around $14 million, which is a 66% drop from its opening weekend. The movie has finally crossed the $100 million revenue mark, though. Congratulations. Although that's really nothing to celebrate since it cost a reported $350 million just to make, and that's not even with marketing. Many are pointing the finger at Rachel Zegler's attitude during press interviews, and honestly, they're not wrong. In fact, here's a quick compilation of clips that pretty much proves my point.
Our rights are on the line, folks. Our reproductive rights. Go vote blue. And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button. I don't need your business.
If I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
To everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
What happened to PR training? And to be clear, those are old clips, but they perfectly explain why people won't stop talking about Zegler. The attitude, the comments, and the dismissive tone all add up. And what does she do after the release of the movie? Well, she posted on her Instagram stories watching the film in an empty cinema. It might have been a private screening, but X is filled with people filming empty theaters as well and encouraging others to steer clear of this hot mess, so it might have been one of her local cinemas. I know at mine, when I went to see the movie, I actually did walk out, but it was dead at the cinema. But she also posted a picture of herself in the Snow White dress with the caption reading, #1 movie in the world, and since a lot of people were trolling her in the comments, she was quick to turn it off. Megyn Kelly gave her 2 cents on Rachel's behavior during an interview with Benny Johnson, and as always, she summed it up perfectly.
So, I mean, this woman has clicked every box, and just for cherry on top at the end, she gave an interview last week talking about how they were basically a bunch of white supremacists on the set of West Side Story, where Steven Spielberg and co. were demanding that she prove how Latina she really is, since her name doesn't sound Latina. And she was angrily saying, did I have to bring in my little abuelita for you to believe that I was Latina? That's her thanks to Steven Spielberg, who discovered her and made her. So she's an ingrate, she's annoying, and I think she's probably 2 and done.
It appears that Rachel is focused on not getting any future gigs in Hollywood. Snow White's director's son posted a now-deleted Instagram comment calling out her behavior, writing, quote, her actions clearly hurt the film's box office, Tens of thousands of people worked on the film, and she hijacked the conversation for her own immature desires at the risk of all the colleagues and crew and blue-collar workers who depend on that movie to be successful. Narcissism is not something to be coddled or encouraged, end quote. That's gotta sting. Benny also gave his 2 cents, and he did make very valid points.
And if she hadn't have opened her mouth, I think that this movie might have done well. They might have just been able to ride on the hopium of the movie and some well-cut trailers, and people would have paid to go see it, and then it would have fallen off when people knew it was garbage. But Rachel Zegler made it so hateable that you really sabotaged and took hundreds of millions of dollars from the studio. I don't know how anyone would ever want to go into business with her ever again.
I mean, do you know like how hard it is to find an attractive young woman in Hollywood who can act and sing? It's not hard. Like who just isn't going to offend half the country. There'll be 25,000 more just like her knocking on the same doors that she had open to her. She had the opportunity of a lifetime, and instead of being humble and grateful, she was entitled and a snot.
Yep, if Rachel had just kept it simple and said some kind, respectful things about the original movie, people would have definitely still given her a chance. The backlash would have likely shifted towards Disney, especially for the weird changes like turning the prince into some kind of Robin Hood knockoff and replacing the dwarves with CGI abominations. The movie might have taken a few hits online, but it still could have made a profit. Instead, Rachel went out of her way to mock the original story and alienate the very fans Disney was counting on. And that turned it from just another questionable remake into a full-blown controversy. I have the perfect example to show you what I'm talking about, and it's from a Bill Maher panel of all places.
Have we been following the Snow White?
Actually, the first time hearing of this.
Really?
No. Yeah.
Okay.
Good for you.
And then they couldn't put dwarfs because this is just so typical of the left. The progressives always finding a way to find their way back to doing something not progressive. You'd think the most progressive thing would be get people jobs, and dwarfs want to work.
This is like a golden employment opportunity for dwarves.
There's not that many scripts that come down the pike.
No, there's 7 of them.
That has, and there's 7 dwarf jobs here. But because I think it was Peter Dinklage said this is, this is not right. This is demeaning. And they were like, what? We just want to work. We're dwarves. So, ho, ho, ho.
Yeah.
It's clear Bill doesn't know about all the controversy surrounding Zegler, and instead he chose to go after Disney for one of the points we just mentioned. I think this movie will serve as a case study on how not to promote any projects. Plus, it's also important to know your target audience and understand their values. Simply put, if you ignore or outright dismiss what they care about, you're setting yourself up for failure and massive losses. But I'd love to know your thoughts here, so let's get the conversation rolling in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed the video, please share it with your friends. It would mean the world to us. It helps so much. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.